This is a reaction video to my own video, successful, most viewed video. And I'm gonna tear it apart with all the things that I've learned, things that either I did wrong or I could have done better, because it's been a little while since I made this video, so I can help you be able to run faster for longer at the same heart rate. Today is going to be an awesome day. 1,000 miles. It's a long way. Yeah, that's a really long way. Cringing like beyond belief. The video turned out totally different than what I started off thinking I was going to film. I didn't know I was actually going to put all this together and make this particular 1,000 mile video. But I did it and I'm happy, and boy do I have some stuff to tell you. Oh my goodness. So this video that I'm putting together, right? So I'm gonna start right there. When I edit these videos, this is terrible. I mean, there's so many pauses, there's so many thes and likes and everything else. And all these unawkward pauses, and the music is too loud. For this talking video, the music is too loud. And for everybody that has come into this channel because of this video, thank you, God bless you, because I don't know if I could have actually listened to myself go through this. This video is way too long. Anybody who's starting out running, who's maybe walking right now. So I'm gonna try an experiment. My training, my running has been... I was filming with my iPhone 8 and it was all jerky, and I honestly didn't know the footage that I was going to use. I like to kind of document kind of daily life. I don't have a vlog per se, but I have ideas of things I want to do. They're training because, you know, they've gone ahead and, you know, put in all these hours of running really, really fast, and they've burned themselves out. Guess what? I can raise my hand. I was in that camp, right? I burned myself out, and it's not fun. It's terrible. So anybody who is thinking about starting to run, or is having problems with their running, or is not motivated in their running, is struggling with their weight, their mental capacity to get out and run, feeling lethargic, feeling tired, feeling grumpy, all of those things. I'm going to tell you, you don't need to go through that. And that is so true. You don't need to go through that. And I've successfully experienced all those emotions over the last 2 years. So what my prior self was saying is so very true. Right? You can see on the screen, scrolling through Strava, like it's just not, I wasn't committed. I didn't have a goal race, right? I was afraid to actually go ahead and do it. And so anyways, my fitness went downhill. I started to lose everything. I became miserable. My world was kind of like imploding. It was just, everything just kind of became really bad. So last year, in September, the kicking moment, like that moment of, I need to do something, came when I went out for a run with my vegan friends. Like we have this group called Team Vegan Trails, and we go out for training runs. And I went out with them to do this run around my birthday, and I took a little selfie picture, and it was great. And I looked at it, and I'm like, this picture is terrible. I really don't like this image of me, but this is that moment of, you got to make a change, Dave. You got to do something. That was the aha moment, was that image right there. And I thought, I have to do something. And so the weight started coming back up, and I went for my race weight of 176 all the way back up to like 215. And I'm like, what am I doing? I felt like such a failure. Okay, right now I'm just gonna stop this because I am above that 215 number right now, and I am not happy about it. I'm working on losing it, but let me tell you, it yo-yos. It yo-yos. So if you're in this camp of this whole yo-yoing weight, I'm with you on this. It's not fun. Route every day. Well, I was going to start running every day. I went around that corner and I wiped out. Oh my gosh, because I was coming down here and it was slippery and there was like ice underneath. I literally went, whoo. Or 3 times a week or whatever. So I started and I did that first run. And it came back and I thought, okay, that can't be what just happened. My very first run, I had to keep my heart rate 180, right? 180 minus. I just felt so happy that I wanted to do this whole snow angel thing. And I thought I would leave the hat there because you couldn't see where my head was. And that's why you're seeing that. And that took a little bit of figuring out how to do too, so. Your age gives you your heart rate, your maximum heart rate in basically zone 2. Okay, anyone that's kind of dealing with all the zones. That's my MAF heart rate, my maximum, no more. Okay, yeah, you can run lower, right? But don't go above. Okay, so the first thing that I did wrong on this, and that I'm still doing wrong, but at least I know it this time, is I took 180 minus my age, right? But then I added 5 beats on because I was running for 2 years. But the problem was I was running for 2 years, but I was injured during that time. So really I shouldn't have been running at 138. I actually should have been running at 133. So again, I'm calling myself out on this one. That's what I did. I went out and I ran a 10 kilometer with a pace of 8:34 with 137 beats a minute. That's 1 beat less than my max. And I was like, what just happened? Like I literally felt, it was awful. I had to walk in some parts to keep my heart rate low because I was using my watch. And I'm like, how am I gonna do this? Like this sucks. I wanna run, I don't wanna walk. This was the moment I realized how hard this was gonna be. And I honestly thought about not doing it. I thought about just saying, the heck with it, I'm just gonna run. But there was something inside of me that said, look, Dave, you gotta take a different approach because what you've been doing hasn't been working. So let's just do it. Now, when I went out to run, I didn't know what I was supposed to be running at. I had no idea, guys, what pace I should run at. So I'm lining up. You start running. So that image that you saw of me running down the street, I actually had my selfie stick in a garbage can across the street. I finished under 2 hours, right? That was my goal. I wanted to finish under 2 hours regardless. And I did, 2 minutes under, right? Which is awesome, 158, I was quite happy with that. However, I had to, so I started to kind of, run these MAF runs every single day again, right? Low heart rate training. And I noticed that my heart rate, like on those runs, started to go higher and higher and higher. I thought, what's going on? And then I realized I hadn't recovered from my half marathon because of so I didn't give myself any recovery time. I literally just kept running and running and running, but my heart rate was starting to rise on each run that I would do. And I'm like, yeah, this is not right. So yeah, you need to have recovery days in there. Right? So, and again, I'm still doing MAF and still, it was really hard to kind of have those 2 runs mixed in. And then I kind of threw my hands up in the air and I said, enough is enough. I am going to not sign up for a race. I am literally just going to now focus, clear-minded focus, and just do the training. Enough is enough. Dave doesn't know how to flip and edit and put this properly in the screen. I went from running like 5 to 6 hours a week to all of a sudden now running 12 hours a week every day. And guess what? I didn't get injured. And guess what? I'm not happy to say this, but I haven't even foam rolled, right? I've done some planks and I've done some push-ups, but not like every day or anything like that. But I haven't even foam rolled, for crying out loud, right? I mean, it's nuts. My muscles feel great. I actually had a massage, and my masseuse said, "Dave, you're good." I'm going to stop you here, Dave. I'm stopping you here. For everybody that's watching this, don't listen to this whole thing about not foam rolling, okay? It is super important because it did catch up to me. I did get hurt, all right? So make sure that you are working on your core. You are doing strength training. This guy here, he didn't know what he was talking about. Strength training, super important, all right? You need to have recovery days, super important. You can't just keep running forever. Foam rolling is your friend. You want to do that, okay? You don't want to skip it. The recovery process is not something that you should just not do. It's something that, especially as we get older, we need to look after our body so we can continue to run. 7:33 on my second month. Pretty cool, eh? I go into December, guys. I went into December. I ran a 500 kilometer month. I've never done that. That is incredible. I felt epic. And one week, I think I ran close to 16 hours. All MAF training. Now a couple of things did kind of come into my world is I did a couple of trail runs, right? And those are harder to keep at MAF, but I did, like pretty darn close. I did, but there was some that just maybe a little bit above. But here's the thing, the following. Yeah, a little bit above. It doesn't hurt, guys. I mean, if you go above, and this is something that I've learned, right? Because over time, you're going to improve. But if you go above your MAF number, you go above your MAF number. It's no big deal. Just don't make a habit of it. That's all. So you want to invest in a heart rate strap. Those are amazing. They work really well. You can't always rely on your wrist optical sensor in your watch because they're prone to having issues. Sometimes heart rate straps have some issues as well. So you want to kind of lubricate kind of where it goes on your chest. I run 6 days a week. 2-hour runs, and again, some of them are longer because I'm doing 30 kilometers. And at this point, I actually thought about running 2 hours every single day for a year. I was curious what would happen. This in 4 months, so wait, September, October, November, December, January, yeah, so in 4 months. In 4 months, guys, I have gotten, just so you know, because I just went out for a run, and you're seeing it on your screen, right? I am now down in the 6s, and so let's look at this, because I think this is where I can shed some light into where things are at. Okay, yes, I ran 1,000 miles. Now, losing weight is a whole other aspect. Yes, you can lose weight by running, but it's also the amount of food that you're putting in your body. And for me, obviously I was putting less in my body than I was burning off. As opposed to right now, it's a total different story, which is why I've kind of climbed up in weight and I haven't been running as much. So at this point here, yes, there was diet involved in losing that 25 pounds. Yes, I did get 2 minutes and 15 minutes faster on this. Injury-free, yes, but the injuries did catch up to me. I don't know if you saw my arm carriage, how I was running, but this arm, it really was, I don't know, I looked like a broken man back then. And so 30-kilometer back-to-back runs, that was kind of cool. Aerobically, I was improving immensely, and I was extremely happy. I obviously made a lot of new friends along the way. I became motivated to continue to run, and I became a better version of myself. I always strive to be that person. The two big things in here is, yeah, I did get injured down the road, and losing weight, you need to tie that with what you're eating as well, because you're just not always going to lose weight just because you're running slow. 1,000 miles. And guess what? I'm going to get faster. So how long am I going to do this for? Well, I'm going to do it until it stops, right? Until I stop seeing him. Look at that consistency, guys, right? Like if you look at everything that you just saw right there in Strava, man, was I consistent. And you will see the results when you are consistent. Right now, I'm in no man's land. Like I'm still a little all over the place. I am nowhere near where my previous self was. So this is kind of inspiring me to kind of look at it and say, hey, I need to get back to kind of what I want to achieve. And if I want to run a 100-mile race, yeah, I'm going to have to start changing a few things up and stop getting injured. Improvements until I plateau, and then I'll get into the whole 80-20, right? 80-20, 80% of your training is done at MAF. Actually, what happened was, you can see how this, after February, after that first week in February, you saw what happened. It went down to a 55-kilometer week. What started to happen was injuries. I started to have my piriformis started to act up, right? Basically, it's being a pain in the butt. That started to act up, and I kind of started doing a little bit of a limp. I don't know, it was kind of interesting. I finally figured out what was going on and got rid of it, but that's where things started to happen. That's why I was talking about injuries, right? Like easy, right? And then 20% is hard. Like you're doing intervals, you're doing hill repeats, right? You're doing a lot of track work, right? For that 20%. Yeah, don't go down the 80-20 road until you actually build up your aerobic base. You want to make sure that you got a good foundation before you start adding on some speed work. And when you do, you want to make sure that you decrease the amount that you're running, right? Your volume needs to drop as the intensity increases. Dave, you've motivated me. You've motivated me to get going. Woo, I got work to do, baby. What am I still doing here? All right, guys, all of you, what are you still doing here? This is a long video. Happy Thanksgiving in Canada, everybody. If this video brought you a lot of fun and entertainment over this wonderful Sunday, then it puts a smile on my face. I got some work I got to do. I have some changes I have to do. It's time to get out and start doing the hard stuff to get back to where I was. All right, except I got to do those few other things to make sure I don't get injured. Like I always say, everyone, get out and run. See ya on Thursday. Bye.